What's up, Sneeples? In this video, we're going to go over our new Shadow Runeblade hero, Vance, going over all of her cards, seeing what cards you want to RuneGate, what cards you just don't even want in the deck, and talking about what Vance's going to be worth for as far as like her value on the tier list. You know, is she going to be super playable, super competitive, or is she going to be kitchen table? Let's get right to it. Let's just get into it. So here it is, Flail of Agony. This is the Vance weapon that we've known about for a long time. And now that everything's been out, the question is this good? And I think so. It really depends. So I don't think Vance's a Rosetta Thorn type girl. And I could see the argument of a Nebula Blade. That's a maybe. But I do like Flail of Agony if you're going for a go again Vance build. Something that you can get go again, but maybe you're a little resource starved. So this Flail of Agony is a free attack to finish it off. That I'm all about. That I can see this card. Otherwise, I like the Scepter of Pain in more Vance decks than not. But if you're going for the go again strat, I like the Flail of Agony. Next up, Grimoire of the Haunt. This card is pretty damn cool because this is going in like almost every Vance deck. The only deck it's not going in is if you're trying for a Nebula Blade type strat. But if you do have the Scepter of Pain or the Flail of Agony, then this card is just a freebie. This is a free Eloquence token whenever you think you need it. I guess it's not free, you do have to pay one. It has AB, but it does have Blood Depth, and that is a problem with this deck more than it is a solution like it would be with Leviathan. Okay. Widespread Annihilation. Well, actually I want to say this. The Eloquence token, there is, you know, I think out of all the heroes, Vance can use it the best. So I do think there's a lot of value to that. Okay, so Widespread Annihilation, RuneGate 4, so it's a little high on the RuneGate, but this is one of the Majestics, and it is because it will banish a card from their hand if your opponent, or for both heroes that have lost life this turn. So very good in the fact that it can take away an additional card out of their hand. In fact, this is the one playing against Vance that I don't want to see come my way. So it being RuneGate 4 is totally fine. On top of that, let's talk about that. It's a blue pitch that is a 6 power. So it's really good, as in you can just pitch it for, you know, for whatever resources you need, and you still will get it back in the, you know, in the pitch cycle. To get back a 6 power is really nice. On top of that, a 4 for 6 with that ability might not be bad. Like 2 for 6 is the ideal rate, but with that ability, it might not just be too bad. I doubt you'll ever play it from hand, but playing it from the, you know, Banished Zone with RuneGate is so good. And if you're a rune chant, like go like a ton of rune chant build so that you can make these come in pretty easily, then you are chilling. This card is awesome. But I do think this card goes in every Vance build. I do think that. I think it's just too good to ignore. Next up, Widespread Destruction. This is only RuneGate 3, so a little easier to make work. And this can banish from their arsenal, so it's kind of like Vance's Command and Conquer. I like this card. It's coming in for 3 Arcane plus 6 if you're RuneGating it. It's really hard to defend 9, right? That's like a Knife Blade. And if they can defend 9, okay, but then you took 3 cards out of hand, you're kind of chilling with that. So honestly, these widespread cards are tempo turning type cards. These are the cards that can turn the tempo into Vance's favor, and I think they're all very necessary. So I think you do want to play this one in most matchups, if not all, in all Vance lists. And then finally we have Widespread Ruin, the easiest one, the one that you will just always main board, because this is only RuneGate 2, and RuneGate 2 is the most viable RuneGate to play with Vance. You can always RuneGate 2. And then this one just banishes the top card. So the effect isn't quite there, and oftentimes it won't matter, but if you can get it to where, you know, maybe you're taking life this turn so you can manage your own card, that might be beneficial. Well, you know, it all depends. But yeah, a 2 for 6 here, and it's just, yeah, it's just a very good card. This one's not as big of a tempo changer, but it is a 2 for 8 kind of with the rune chance. Yeah, that's fine, right? Okay, next up, Funeral Moon. You're gonna want to run this in every Vincent build. Playing this at instant speed is really easy to do. Creates a rune chant. Like, it's discards an auto include. There's not much more to say. Requiem for the Damned. Now this card is a bit situational on the Vincent build. You know, you're going to want to really look at what type of non-attack cards you have. I think the most basic non-attack card you can do is read the runes, give them that go again, and then coming in with a rune gate 3 or 2 or, you know, whatever. Like that is really easy to do, and that is a very viable play strategy here, and that's why I like the card in like almost every build. Maybe the go again build already has everything having go again anyways as far as its non-attack goes, so maybe it won't do too much on that build, but every other build it should be great with. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Requiem for the Damned, and it blocks for 3, so you're kind of chilling. All right, next up, Oblivion. Now this is her specialization. You can only have 1, but it's pretty good. Like Nazareth is actually really good. I like that Nazareth when that demon attacks doesn't actually pop the rune chance, so you can still use those rune chants for like a rune gate sort of card. However, this is where you kind of want to try to get some go again somehow with like Shadow Puppetry and whatnot, because you want to be able to attack for a rune gate card and Nazareth. But Nazareth is always good as just like a shield, because if your opponent, you know, doesn't respect Nazareth, you can just block every turn and come in with Nazareth for free. So that part's really nice. Now, how often can you get Nazareth out? It really depends on the build. Obviously, if you're a rune chant heavy build, you can probably get it. You know, it might require a turn to set up maybe, but you can probably get it. If you are a go again build, or if you're a more defensive build, maybe defensive build you still be good. Go again build, maybe not. This might be a better sideboard card if you're a go again build. Okay, now let's talk about the rares, and the first one we're going to talk about, definitely Delight. This card's great. This card and 2 of these other cards we're going to talk about are just an auto include in every Vincent deck. This is just a 2 for 5, or like, this is a Rune Gate 2, which I said is like the easiest one to do, and let me tell you why Rune Gate 2 is the easiest. Because you banish a card, you can banish this Deathly Duet, right? That will give you 1 rune chant from the beginning from Vincent's ability. And then you can just make another rune chant with Grasp. And that's how you can always ensure you to have 2 rune chants. And so that's where Deathly Delight becomes a very easy card to play. Deals a good amount of damage and gains you life. Gains you some life. Which that's always extremely nice. So I like Deathly Delight quite a bit. I would even consider Yellow and Blue, just because it's a very versatile card. Like, you can play it very easily. It is not hard. And it gives you a bit of life, so, you know, there's a lot of good things about it. I don't know, I just really am high on it. Next up, Deathly Well. Love this card too. Yeah, this is a Rune Gate 3, so, you know, it might not be as easy to make or to get out, but the fact that when it deals or any sort of damage that turn, whether through rune chants or combat damage, you create, you know, a rune chant, like, it kind of pays for itself a little bit, and that's what's really cool about it. I really like that, to help set up for the next turn, so you can get 2 to 3 rune chants for the next turn, and it just keeps going. This allows you to keep going with Vincent, to keep presenting attacks, because you're going to have to present some attacks, otherwise you're just going to be at a disadvantage because you basically only have 3 cards a hand. Alright, and then now we have Envelop in Darkness. Now this is the non-attack that I really like. I think a lot of decks are going to want to play this. Maybe if you're a more defensive build, this isn't your play strategy, but paying 1 to create a rune chant is kind of paying for itself when you look at rune chant or rune gate ability. And then on top of that, it's a pump. So I do like this card. I do think this card gets played in Rainbow in most decks, but maybe, like I said, if you are a defensive build, maybe it's not for you. Alright, let's talk about Rift Skitter. This one, I just don't think is worth it. If it was RuneGate 2, I'd be all about it. But RuneGate 3 for 4 go again, I just think it's a little too cost heavy with the rune chants. And like really just to come in with maybe your weapon afterwards, it's just not worth. So I'm not big on Rift Getter in any color. Alright, next up is Vance and Banshee. This was the promo we got along with the Flail. What was that called again? Flail of Agony. But Vance and Banshee is kind of just a little interesting because it's a 3 for 7, right? So 0 for 10. But as mentioned before, 3 can be kind of a little bit more difficult to get than like 2 rune chants. So it's kind of dependent on the build. Obviously, if you're rune chant heavy, it's fine. Then you're chilling. This isn't gonna kill you. But if you're a more like go again build where you just want to always come in with some sort of RuneGate card, I don't think if the card costs 3 that's something you want to be looking at. So keep that in mind. But I do think the yellows and reds are pretty good because they're also poppers, right? All right, next up, Vance and Rafe. Now this is your 2 for 6. Now this goes in every deck because this works for what you want to do. Yeah, and that's just all there is to it. It's great. And I think, honestly, running Rainbow is totally fine. The blue is just good for blue pitches if need be, but you can just totally go Rainbow and be totally fine, I think. All right, last card is Putrid Stirrings. I'm not really into this card. Perhaps if you're a rune chant heavy type deck, I could see this work. But even then, I mean, actually, I don't even see why it would work in a rune chant heavy deck. I'm just trying to figure out where you'd want to play this card because I've been playing some quite a bit of Vincent, and this card I don't see this working for any sort of play style. Like maybe if you're just gonna go like super go tall, but I just think there's better cards out there. 3 for 5, I don't think it's worth. But yeah, there it is. You can play this from Banshee, it does have that ability. But that is all of the Shadow Runeblade cards. I don't think Chain's going to play any of these cards. I want to mention him because he is a Shadow Runeblade. So he has access to all these cards except for the Oblivion. And I just don't think this would be anything he'd be interested in. Even Envelop in Darkness. I don't think he cares about creating 1 rune chant for 1. And he doesn't run RuneGate cards. And I don't think he would. So yeah, so let's talk about where Vincent is in the meta, where we should expect her. I have been conveniently surprised. She's actually done better than I originally thought she would as far as my playtesting went, but I don't see her breaking any of the meta. I do think there's certain builds that can do better into more aggro decks, but I do think she has a hard time to beat wizards. So if Kano or Icelander becomes any bit prevalent in the meta, then I don't think Vincent's going to last too well. So Dromai is also another hard one for her. So I think Vincent is probably going to be about C, maybe B tier. And that's just my honest truth to it. I don't think she's garbage or anything like that. But I don't think, as of now, I haven't seen it just... I think you can solidly get into a B tier. But I think she can also be figured out, which can put her back to the C tier. So that's my take on Vincent. If any of you guys think that you have the deck or you want to really show it off, yeah, post it down. I would love to check it out. Maybe you figured it out that I haven't, but as of now, anyways, keep on fabbing.